Good afternoon and welcome back to Channel World Seed. Our next session is Seeding Success, Unveiling the Role and Impact of the World Seed Partnership. I'm joined by representatives of the 5 partners who together make up the World Seed Partnership, which is supporting the development of the seed sector in countries around the world. Let's introduce our panellists. We have Csaba Gaspar, who's Head of Section, Codes and Schemes for the OECD. We have next to him Yolanda Huerta, who's Vice Secretary General of UPOV. Then next to Yolanda, we have Michael Keller, the Secretary General, of the International Seed Federation. And next to him, we have Andreas Weiss, the Secretary General of ISTA. And finally, to my left, we have Andrea Porro, Secretary General of the World Farmers Organization. I'm going to start by asking each of the panelists to introduce their organization and their interest in the World Seed Partnership and why they joined. So I'm going to come to you first, Csaba.
Thank you very much. I am the program manager of the OECD Seed Scheme and also heading all of the standardization work in the OECD related to agriculture. And for us, all of the 5 organizations or 4 other organizations are key partners. So it was very natural to join this partnership. For OECD, the most important is capacity building because that's strategic for OECD. We would like to help countries to be in line with our OECD seed standards and develop their seed sector. And it was quite obvious that as we work together with other organizations to partner with them and develop capacity building activities together.
Thank you. And Yolanda?
Hello. So I'm Yolanda Huerta, Vice Secretary General of UPOV. UPOV was established in 1961 to provide and promote an effective system of plant variety protection for the benefit of society. It was established by the UPOV Convention that recognized the intellectual property right for plant breeders when they develop a new variety of plant. And these new varieties, for example, to give you an example, in 2023 there were 27,000 applications of new varieties in all UPOV members. UPOV members are 79, covering 98 states with the recent accession of Armenia. And the idea of working together with all the partner organizations is because we realize that the countries approach UPOV is because they want to achieve national development goals and the development of the agricultural sector. So it makes a lot of sense to work together in order to help these countries to organize and put together an enabling environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. And Michael?
Yeah, thanks so much, Claire. And first of all, welcome to all of you. And perhaps you heard it, we are celebrating 100 years, International Seed Federation now. I think more importantly for us, there's only one thing we would like to do. It's to provide more seed choice for farmers with improved quality seed. And when I'm saying this, when you're looking, we have OECD, UPOV, ISTA and the farmers here. At the end, what we are dreaming of, that in all the countries of the world, we have the systems in place. The enabling business environment which allows us to go into the countries, even build breeding programs or production, but at least to be able to provide seed choice to the farmers everywhere.
Thank you, Michael. And Andreas?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Andreas Weiss, and like ISF, ISTA is also celebrating 100 years this year. We will do that at our foundation place in Cambridge. And ISTA was founded out of the ESTA, the European Seed Testing Association, to become international by adding countries globally, and that was in 1924. And the necessity was to have, with more and more trading seeds over borders and intercontinentally, to have common rules for seed testing so that a test on purity or germination is done the same way in Europe, in South America, in North America, Africa, Asia, than anywhere else. And out of that, in the 90s, a system came up, which was the accreditation system, and we have now laboratories who are accredited and demonstrate by that they work under the ISTA rules for seed testing, and these rules are modernized, harmonized every year. So every year we have a new set of rules available. And the number of accredited laboratories is now over 160 laboratories worldwide, and a few years, 2 years ago, it was only 150. So we are really with big steps growing and see the necessity that this is an important thing to secure and to have on the bags what the farmers are really getting, to have the right variety, to have the right purity, and to have the right germination ready for the farmers to sow them. And now up to you.
Andrea.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrea. I'm the Secretary General for the World Farmer Organization. Our organization is born out of the will of more than 80 national farmer organizations of 55 countries to bring the voice of a farmer in international fora and venue where it's most needed, where discussion about their future, their choice is made at stake, and sometimes they're not there at the table to decide. We value partnership like this because it helps us to stay true to our goal and objective. Capacity building, facilitate farmer to have access to information, in this case plant varieties and seeds, and also to make sure that they are affordable enough for farmers to bring them in and include in their production model. And that's why we really value these esteemed partners around us. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And I will ask, of course, the theme here is collaboration. And you all have a common goal with the World Seed Partnership, but you have different missions and visions yourself. How do you navigate that and work together on this? Who would like to maybe start with that? Chapa, would you maybe take that one?
Yes, we are focusing on the common goals, and we don't talk about things which may be not that common between the organizations. So I think that's a good way to work together with different organizations, with different membership, maybe different aspects and goals within the organizations. So what is common in these organizations like UPOV, ISTA, OECD, ISF, they are providing an international regulatory framework for international seed trade, and we are doing that farmers, they have access to quality seed. So that is the common goal. So we are discussing how to improve the international framework, how we can assist countries to develop the national certification or regulatory framework in line with the international regulatory framework, which we can help them. So then later on they can participate in the international seed trade for the benefit of the global communities.
And there have been challenges around silos in the sector. How has the World Seed Partnership made headway on this? I mean, and what sort of challenges maybe were encountered in the process? Michael, you're nodding. Can you share?
Yeah, I think we should go back when we started to collaborate. I must say, International Seed Federation, the private sector is collaborating individually with all the organizations here, but we felt, we have far more in common. We should also work on some topics together. And what's the topic together? I think this starts during the World Seed Conference in 2001, where we all felt, what is it about? It's about improved varieties, it's about improved quality varieties for farmers. And from that moment on, we said, hey, let's think about perhaps a work plan. It was a project at that time that we are looking also perhaps on some countries where OECD is acting, UPOV is acting, or ISTA is acting. Is there not something to do together? It's the same governments, it's the same farmers. And at the end, we had different organizations, also up to us to build this synergy when we are working together in a country.
And of course, Andrea, you are one of the more recent members of the World Seed Partnership. Can you give a little bit of perspective from WFO?
Definitely. So WFO stays true to its principle that we want to make sure that farmer voice is always heard. And I think that in this part, in a battle that sees a lot of countries having struggled to access quality seed, certified seed, this type of partnership, what enables us and what we think that we can bring an added value and receive, as was mentioned before, consensus and being so different. I think that what makes difference is what makes us unique. But we do share a common vision, and that's what makes us stronger. We might be a bit slower because we are so different, but we will go farther, especially because we are different, but we focus on what makes us similar towards a common objective. So farmers is what stays true to us. Farmers is now at the center of the vision of the World Seed Partnership, and that's why we value our presence here.
And obviously you're representing a wide range of stakeholders. How is it that you manage to stay coherent with your messaging on that? you want to maybe take that, Andrea?
Yeah, I could say a few words to that. Of course, we are having our committee meetings, our World Seed Partnership meetings, mostly online. Here we have the possibility to talk also face to face, and that is important. We sometimes invite new people to join, to get new ideas, to get ideas about areas where we can grow, where we can work further and closer together. I think that is one way, and the other way is really with the projects. We had a number of projects in the past. We started, I think, looking at Myanmar. We had Nigeria as a project. Now we could say Rwanda is one of our next or ongoing projects now. And for some of these, partners of the partnership achieved their points by now. Let's see, Nigeria is an ISTA accredited laboratory, but some of the partners are still working in that area, and where we can help each other, we try to help. And there are also projects of a few partners where ISTA is established, and there also we try to give help. And in some cases, when Csaba talked about capacity building, as soon as he knows that there is enough capacity on seed sampling and germination, because there are 1 or 2 accredited ISTA laboratories, he might not have to put that much effort into that anymore. So that's also for us very important to work together.
And of course, you've mentioned some of the countries that you've worked on there. Yolanda, I'll come to you next. Can you share some of the success stories or locations that you've worked on with the World Seed Partnership with everybody?
Maybe I would like to refer to the United Republic of Tanzania. It's one of the recent UPOV members, and it was really a great synergies, because normally UPOV is working together with the country. It's a request-driven process, and normally comes when there is a request how we can have access to improve varieties, to quality seed for our farmers and growers, to address food security, to mitigate or reduce, the effects of climate change, or create trade opportunities. And we were engaging with the countries because they need to develop a law that is compatible with the UPOV Convention. But in some of our exchange with the policymakers of those countries, questions concerning, OCDE, ISTA, whether there is a National Breeders Association, those questions come up. And through this partnership, we can say, I know the right person, the right focal point of these organizations that you can engage, and then we can have, a dialogue that is really meaningful, because you can see how to create an ecosystem that will have a real impact in the country, bringing all the key stakeholders, public and private sector, working together with common goals.
Michael, do you want to share a little bit on that and some of the work in the United Republic of Tanzania?
Yeah, I think for us it's an interesting, important example, because at that time when we started to work in Tanzania, it was also, we had a seed association in Tanzania, but I think they looked also for support, and they looked for external support, and that's also our role where we are coming in, because very often is also there's a need to understand what means an improved variety, what means an improved variety also for the farmer, because I think that's where we discovered, many of us who went to Myanmar and we discovered their study that the farmers don't know the difference between an improved variety and the variety or the seeds they're using since many, many years. And I think that's also where somehow we have also a joint endeavor to build the information flow. And in doing this together, it's far easier instead of going there individually. In Tanzania, I just asked last week, because we have a Secretary General of the Seed Association of Tanzania, Bob Schuma, many of us remember him. He's still in place, by the way, but he just reminded us, since also we started to collaborate there together, today you have a private seed sector established in Tanzania, and there is a kind of seed security also when you look on improved varieties. And I think that's exactly what we are looking for by collaborating.
So how does it work then in terms of the countries that you're identifying for? Are you proactive in approaching countries? Do they come to you? Csaba, could you maybe comment on that?
I think it's kind of a combination of both, because when a country wants to develop the seed sector and the regulatory framework, in general the seed sector, they will reach out to one of the organizations usually. And then as we have a coordination meeting, as Andreas mentioned, then we discuss all the time, we share our experiences, and then we know that those countries who contacted one organization they will contact the other organization, because that is a kind of a package. And also when we go to evaluation or a visit of the country, we always reminding them that if you want a proper seed sector, you need ISTA, OECD, UPOV. You need a private seed sector where the ISF is taking a leading role, and also you do it for the farmers, so farmers should be involved also in the seed sector development. Also, we have also opportunities to organize joint missions, all the 5 organizations going to one country, and we advertise all us together for the governments, which make a more impact than it would be like an individual organization. So that's very powerful when 5 organizations meet with the Minister of Agriculture, for example.
And Andreas, how has the mission of the World Seed Partnership changed in previous years, and what's the key focus for the future?
Yeah, the mission changed. I would say the mission was adapted to what is going on, to what we need to do. As I said, we started first with very common projects. Now we have sometimes that 3 or 4 or 2 partners are working together and informing the others. But the mission itself will be a one-stop shop solution, if you would like to say, for the countries. That didn't change. We are still wanting to be a one-stop shop solution. We want to be visible as a group to all the stakeholders in the country as well. And I think that is still true, and that will remain true. And that's the strength of this World Seed Partnership, to collaborate together, to inform yourselves on what is going on, and that others can step in, like Yolanda and Csaba said before. So there's no change in the vision or mission of our partnership.
But Andrea, since the World Farmers Organization came on board, how has that changed things? Has that been a change of vision, or in terms of that partnership?
Well, it helped us to understand more what other important actors along the seed security as a vision. Obviously, as we mentioned, that different is what makes us unique. We also collecting and bringing home the message of our members that they're different from different countries, the sensitivities around the right of what to plant, and the possibility of having access to the genetic resources and the fact that remains as a common and public good. Obviously, farmers feel that after being exposed of these opportunities, they can be engaged more on the conservation, on the production, in bridging the seed sector from the informal, in which several countries that you operate have, towards a more formal sector. So whatever, and let's say we enlarged our vision and our members' vision to understand such a complex mechanism. I mean, our farm organization, they would like to have a stake to say in a lot of dynamics, but sometimes they discover that it's definitely more complex than what it seems on the surface. And that's what is enriching us, and to bring a more clear message to our members that there are different organizations with different objectives, but they have one common goal.
And Michael, in the opening session this morning, the phrase that you used was building bridges where there were borders. And in terms of that partnership piece, why it's so important to deliver tangible change in the seed sector and beyond. Obviously, the World Seed Partnership is a concrete example of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely. And I'm just thinking, perhaps, I take 2 examples for me, and that's interesting. It's Nigeria. I think we all know Nigeria is an important place where there is a big need still to build this seed security. I think we're always saying there are millions of hectares of land, and farmers are looking to have more, perhaps, access also. And that's where we are also, sometimes we are reactive, because it's the Nigerian government who launched also Seed Connect initiative, and I think this was a meeting where we all went, and somehow we coordinated ourselves also before we are going there, because our message are the same. Things what we have to do there is different, because look, in Nigeria also there's not a big private seed sector. That means it's also to think about, we will not build the private seed sector from scratch. That means we need to think, hey, who could be the actors interested to go to Nigeria, or who are yet the actors on site? And that's for me where I would like also to bridge it. The private seed sector cannot do it alone. We need to work also with the public sector. That means the public institutes, the CGRR systems, or others who are investing there. That's somehow our role. And the second one is perhaps a very interesting one, which is more recent. It's Rwanda. It is clear we took up, and we will speak about this one, Rwanda, because we see there's a big dynamics in Rwanda, but there's also the call of the Minister of Trade, of the Minister of Agriculture. We would like to position Rwanda as even a seed hub in a country. And the interesting one, at the end, each of us individually yet work there, and somehow we discovered the real dynamics. And now I think some of us will be there in July. We were, some of us yet last year at Rwanda Seed Congress. We will be there again together.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely also aligned what the government is looking for, and that we are going there in a joint effort. I think that's exactly what we are looking for, working beyond silos.
And if people who are watching at home and those in the room as well, if they want to get involved and collaborate with yourself, what's your message to them? Andrea?
Yeah, you just approach one of us. You can find us on the common website which we have, worldseedpartnership.org, as far as I remember. And you can approach either of us, and we will inform the rest of the membership of the partnership and work together. And Michael, what you said about being there at the first Congress and now being at the second Congress in Rwanda, we can clearly see with all the discussions we had in between that there's high achievements of their goals, what they want to achieve. We see clearly that they want to walk the path, and that is something which we want to do. Not bringing things to someone, but enable them to walk on themselves.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of our mission, actually. We cannot go there and say we want to bring that to you. No, we expect that we want to walk on ourselves, and how can you help us? And that is our work which we want to do in the countries.
One of the messages I've taken from the Congress so far is that sort of call to action about how do we reach more farmers and provide them with better access to a variety of seeds. So in answer to that, what is the World Seed Partnership doing in terms of that regard, Yolanda?
I would like to maybe share with you that we represent global organizations. But to be effective, we need to really understand the local needs and aspirations, because each country and the situation of the farmers' community in each country is completely different. At the end, to ensure that new varieties, quality seeds reach out the farmer at the right time, the right location, with the right information to make it successful and to have access to the market. This is what we need to also ensure that we can work together in a very effective way. So from that point of view, I will say my key message will be the importance of all of us, whatever our role is, to work together for a better life and better planet. I think that is what unites us.
Would you agree, Andrea?
Well, would be strange to say no. Yes, no, definitely it's important for us, what is as WFO and then being member, what is important is to put the farmer need at the center. And that's what I think it's uplifting, the principle that was mentioned of uplifting the national needs and request is what qualify us as this group, in the idea that is not a top-down, but it really starts from the need, locally targeted design, and work it together based on the needs, co-design, and then, let's say, create this condition in which seed security is reached, and then from seed security to food security.
And I guess just in the last few minutes, I'd maybe come to each of you briefly and ask you, what is the commitment that you will give to the World Seed Partnership moving forward from your organisation? Shav, I'll start with you.
Yes, for us, I think World Seed Partnership become more and more important than in the past, because we see that food security is an issue, livelihood for the farmers is an issue, and you have to feed the world population, which is growing, and you have to do it sustainably. So for that, you need more countries who are able to satisfy their own seed demand first, but also to participate in the international or the global seed systems. So for that, we need more and more countries who are enabled to produce quality seed for other countries. And this is why the World Seed Partnership, I think, will become more and more important to help those countries who make this decision to develop their seed sector, that we are there and we are ready to help them.
And Yolanda, what's your UPOV's commitment to the World Seed Partnership moving forward?
We say our commitment is to work together in order that we can create an enable environment. So there is long-term investment in developing these new plant varieties that require a lot of time and effort in order to ensure that those varieties will reach out after the farmers and the growers and society, all of us. And I realized that the challenges are huge. I remember in the ISF Congress last year in Cape Town, one of the key messages was the challenge of climate change are so huge that there is no longer a choice. We all need to work together, embrace each other's understanding, and then come together, public sector, private sector, international organizations, national associations, to really come forward with some really key solutions. So there is no choice. We need to work together.
And that's music to your ears, Michael. What's your commitment from ISF?
Our commitment is very clear. What we would like to support the seed choice for farmers. But I would like to make one point, because we are saying we are not working in silos, and that's absolutely critical. But we know also that the farmer, when the farmer is here working, the farmer is not looking where the seeds is coming from. The farmer wants the right solution. Therefore, we are always saying, hey, we are here with improved varieties, but perhaps the farmers would like to work with a landrace. You know, this is also very important. We keep in mind the diversity of choice the farmer would like to look for. And I think this is for us of utmost importance also, and this is also our call. Going beyond silos is also going beyond also ourselves standing here. But there is lots to do, because we know exactly in countries in Africa, you have still countries, you have perhaps, when you take improved varieties, perhaps 5% of the market is improved varieties. There are issues in terms of seed supply. We should accept it. There is a seed security issue, and I think that's where we need to think, but also out of the box, not only within us, but also with our partners outside. And this is always in a collaborative effort also with farmers.
Thank you. And Andrea?
Yeah, what we can say is that around the table here are stakeholders of ISTA, in a way. From our mission and vision, we need to be there and make sure that the seed which is reaching the farmer has the right quality and that it is the right seed. But on the other hand, very important, nowadays transporting seed is time. And we will introduce in a few weeks from now an electronic ISTA certificate system, which will even enhance this shipping and the timing, or reduce the timing, and that is very important, and that's a commitment which we have always to try to be better. And also the growing number of ISTA laboratories around the world is another point which is very important, because that makes things also quicker and more reliable.
Thank you. And the last word from you, Andrea, before our time runs out.
Yes. So, well, our point will be always to make sure that the voice of a farmer is represented here, and to make sure that we bring the concept that farmers are not afraid of innovation as long as it's co-designed with them. But yet too many farmers today, they go to bed hungry, because in a lot of area production is really hindered by climate change, by whatever, and so solution that can come from a science-based approach, an evidence-based approach, and farmer-driven is what we will always bring in the partnership.
Well, thank you so much, and thank all of you so much for your time today. I'm afraid our time is up, but it was wonderful to bring this conversation to everybody. Can we just thank them in the usual fashion, please?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.